di ba kanina lang tayong magkakasama ng 12 noon at ito na naman ako mangungulit sa inyo. By the way, if you are watching us from Facebook, I think it's about time that you make the big switch dahil nako, dito pag sa Shopee app ka nanonood, napakaraming benefits, hindi lamang matututo, marami ka ring makukuhang coins, vouchers, discounts, etc. Kaya naman, lipat na. But first of all, I would like to welcome you to our newest show, and it is called Ask the Pro. It is only the third episode that we are having today, and this is again, the title is How to Protect Your Mental Health During ECQ. And of course, it's a part of Ask the Pro, your guide to the new normal. Yes, nag-start kami nung last April 29, kung saan shinare sa atin ni Dr. Bautista, who was a COVID-19 survivor, how he fought these and shared some best practices, how to avoid getting it. And last Wednesday, sinamahan naman tayo ni Mr. Paolo TV and shared how to earn still during this lockdown. Ako, Shopee fam, just like you, we're also adjust sa maraming nangyayari ngayon. And I'm sure marami kayong tanong, mapa health man yan, finances, at marami pang iba. Pero alam nyo naman, Shopee's got you. When it comes to that, syempre naman, sagot namin kayo. Pero, eto pa, ang ibang sagot din namin, ha? Syempre, we have a treat for you dahil sinasamahan nyo kami today. Pwede nyong paghati-hatian ang 15,000 Shopee coins. At hindi lang yan dahil we also have 2 Shopee Pay discount vouchers. Kaya make sure to stay with us until the end of the show. At huwag aalis dahil baka mag-reset ang timers ninyo at ma-miss out nyo ang vouchers kapag nirelease na namin, Shopee fam. So, let us get right to it, Shopee fam. Today we are going to talk about how to protect your mental health during ECQ. At I'm sure, alam nyo naman kung gaano kahalaga ang ating mental health sa ating well-being, right? Paanong naaapektuhan ng ECQ ang ating mental health? Ano ang mga pwede nating gawin sa ating mental health during this ECQ? Yan ang ilang katanungan na sasagutin natin with today's episode, okay? At alam ko, super excited na rin kayong makilala ang ating expert for today. He is a psychiatrist and he specializes on mental health. Psychiatrist consultant at toxicology specialist, and in such community services. And also, wow, he is an instructor at the De La Salle University and Emilio Aguinaldo College. So please welcome, hindi ko na patatagalin pa, Dr. Roll C. Alibudbud.
So, good afternoon, Rosie. Good afternoon din sa mga viewers. Thank you for
Hi,
having
Doc. Magandang hapon. Kamusta ka naman?
Okay naman. Ito, nandito lang din sa kwarto habang naka-quarantine tayong lahat.
Correct. Kanina nagkwekwentuhan kami briefly ni Doc, no? So he is still doing consultations when he is still in the house. And kaya alam kong busy ka, Doc, lalo na sa panahon ngayon. So I would like to thank you so much for accepting our invitation here on Shopee Live. And I'm sure excited ang ating Shopee fam sa inyong mga i-share for this episode. So can you tell us how this quarantine affects our mental health? Maybe let's get right to it.
Okay. Sige. Siguro, we can start the slides na din kung ayun na din yung mga topic. Pero in general kasi, pag ganito na quarantine, it's an abnormal situation. So we wouldn't really feel a lot of normal about it. So magiging abnormal din yung pakiramdam natin. More than, far away from our usual na normal na feelings. Like na okay tayo, na we're doing good. Pag ganito kasi na abnormal yung situation, it is alright actually to feel anxious and stressed about it. Especially on the initial phase. Kasi di ba, nung nag-start tong quarantine, may mga tao na nakaramdam na nagalit, na-frustrate, na-depressed, nag-panic, ano ba yung papakain nila sa pamilya nila. And it is acceptable to actually feel that way. Kasi di ba, kahit sino naman, pag for example, pag iniwan ka ng asawa mo or ng jowa mo, tapos hindi ka nalungkot, tapos in love ka pa dun sa tao, you would really feel wreck about it. So, I think it is actually normal to not feel good, especially on the initial phase of this quarantine. So, um, let's go to the next slide. So, how does quarantine actually affects your mental health? Okay? So, on the next slide, dun sa slide 3, um, itong slide na to, it shows that the longer the quarantine duration, this is a study taken from the Lancet. It is a journal of medicine sa United Kingdom. So, ang nakita nila dun sa study nila, the longer the duration of quarantine, and take note, dito sa long duration na to, it is only 2 weeks or more. So sa atin ngayon, ilang months na, 'di ba? Magma-months na. So by May 15, naka 2 months na tayo, 'di ba? Na
Yes.
naka-quarantine. So ang nakita nila dito, the longer the quarantine duration, um, the more stress that you get. Okay? Then another fear and another cause of stress would be infection fears na natatakot tayo, baka magkasakit tayo o yung kung hindi tayo, yung kapamilya natin, kaibigan natin, kakilala natin, mga mahal natin sa buhay. Which is actually compound to stress. So, ang ibig sabihin niyan, pag meron tayong kinakatakutan, we are stressed, which is actually, kahit naman normal day, na mas stress din tayo pag may ganun na nangyari. Then another thing that adds to the stress would be feelings of frustrations and boredom. Actually, a lot of people um, actually consulted me about it na sometimes they feel so frustrated and they feel so bored na hindi sila makalabas, their movement is limited dun sa bahay nila, minsan pwede sa community nila kasi private na property. So hanggang dun lang yung sila nakakalabas. So minsan they feel frustrated, they feel bored, they don't know what to do, and that makes them feel empty, and pag
Mm.
na-empty sila, they feel stressed about it. Okay? Then another na naging problem with quarantine is that there might be inadequate supplies and information. So if you would look at dun sa course ng quarantine natin, di ba nung wala pang social amelioration program yung government, a lot of people were actually um, stressed about not having to something to feed themselves, 'di ba? Wala silang makain, walang um walang panggastos para sa araw-araw ng mga pangangailangan, even the bills, 'di ba? Yung may middle class na parang movement na pati yung bills pinoproblema. So everyone has a problem about supplies, 'di ba? Not only about about food but also about dun sa utilities. Then another problem is inadequate information. So ano na ba yung gagawin natin after nitong quarantine? Paano ba yung magiging new normal? So, hindi din makapagplano kasi pag yung mind natin nakapagplano, we feel more secured. And when we feel more secured, we are less stressed. But
Mm.
in this case, pag inadequate yung information, kasi technically, the new coronavirus, so new nga siya, so konti lang din yung alam tungkol sa kanya. So, nakaka-stress din pag gano'n na hindi tayo makapagplano ng maayos ng mga susunod nating gagawin. Okay? Then, very significant, especially for the working class, is yung financial loss, especially for businesses. I have this client nga na um, he's a CEO of a BPO company na kailangan niya mag-lay off ng workers. Not only does he get stress from the financial loss, but also from the financial loss ng mga workers niya. Kasi alam niyang mahirap yung buhay lalo na sa ngayon. Tapos mawawalan pa ng pera, mawawalan pa ng pagkakakitaan ng supply yung um mga tao
Influence.
niya. Yun. Then eto, stigma, 'di ba? Nakita naman natin, 'di ba dun sa news before, ang stigma kasi it is branding. Ibig sabihin para kang nadumihan. So, kumbaga dito sa situation natin, um yung stigma makikita mo usually among the healthcare workers na 'di ba merong kang makikita sa news na pinalayas dun sa dorm niya, sa tinitirhan niya. Tapos meron pa nga, di ba, sinabuyan ng Zonrox yung mukha. So, ha- how would you actually feel pag sa'yo nangyari yun na in times of great need, dun ka nawalan, di ba? Everyone would feel stress about it. So, ito yung mga usual na stressors. According dun sa studies na yun, actually, kasi pag tinignan mo yung studies na yun, it is a meta-analysis. Pag sinabing meta-analysis, or systematic review yung study na yun, ibig sabihin, madaming study, 1,000 plus na study yung tinignan nila, tapos pinagsama-sama nila yung information. Ito lahat yung common na stressors. So, yung long duration of the quarantine, which is more than 14 days, yung natatakot na ma-infect ng COVID-19, frustrations and boredom because of the quarantine situation, inadequate supply, inadequate information, the financial loss kasi hindi tayo makapagtrabaho ng maayos lahat, and the stigma na baka madumi ka na, baka magkasakit kami pag lumapit ka sa amin, yung mga ganung bagay. All of those leads to stress. At pag na-stress tayo, dito na nagsisimula yung pangit yung mood natin, low mood. For example, ang pinaka, pag nagkaka-low mood tayo, ito yung tinatawag na natin depressed tayo, na wala tayong gana sa araw-araw na ginagawa natin. Minsan, stress also leads to confusion na ang nangyayari naman, yung parang hindi mo na alam yung gagawin. Parang you are so restless, yung pakiramdam mo, hindi ka mapakali. Tapos, um, meron din pag na-stress ka, galit ka naman. Sinisisi mo yung gobyerno, sinisisi mo yung lack of action. Madami din ganun. And it is actually normal to feel that way. And anxiety, na na-anxious ka dun sa mga kakainin nyo, dun sa naipon mo, sa pambayad ng housing, sa pambayad ng bills. Pwede din kasing ganun yung kalabasan. So, these feelings na nalungkot ka, nag-alala ka, is actually normal pag tiningnan mo. Kasi kahit naman sino, during this quarantine would feel that way. But it actually becomes abnormal if you can't actually do something about your life. Like, for example, hindi ka na nakakapag-prepare ng pagkain mo, hindi mo na naaalagaan yung anak mo. Kung naka-work from home ka, hindi ka na trabaho kahit alam mong kaya mo. So, yung mga ganong bagay. Pag hindi mo na nagagawa yung usual mo na activities, like mag-alaga ng mga anak, pati magluto ng pagkain mo, alagaan mo yung sarili mo, maligo, baka doon na nagsisimula yung nagiging problema. Na pag nagtuloy-tuloy yun, ay nangyayari na mental disorder. Pero if you're feeling in a day na meron kang episodes like 10 minutes na parang ang feeling mo frustrated ka, galit na galit ka about what is happening, about the policies, about your job, about the loss of finances, it is actually normal. But kung hindi mo na, dahil doon, throughout the day, for most of the days, like let's say more than 1 week, more than 2 weeks, tapos hindi ka na nakakagawa because of the anxiety, because of the fear, it might actually be a mental disorder. Pero kung ang nararamdaman mo, episodic lang, ibig sabihin, paminsan-minsan lang, nagkakaroon ka ng depression, ng anxiety, ng galit, ng confusion, then it would be um, normal in that kind of situation.
Okay. So, normal pa pala ako, Doc, no? Na kaunti-konti may episodes na pabugso-bugso lamang sa ganyan. So, that's totally okay, right? Kung nakaka-move on ka and you can still go ahead with your life, that is fine and you are perfectly normal. Okay, that's good to know. So, Shopee fam, ako, nung nagsisimula pa lang magsalita si Doc, ang dami ko nang naiisip na questions. Please, if you have questions for Doc Alibudbud, please go ahead and comment down below para naman maibigay namin ang mga questions ninyo kay Doc at masagot natin yan dito sa Ask the Pro, okay? Ako, Doc, meron agad pumasok sa brain ko kanina while you are talking like this. Ano naman yung gagawin natin kapag nakita na natin yung mga signs nga na ganyan? For example, naku, hindi na makafunction tong ate ko, ha? Anong gagawin ko for her?
Una, tingin ko, it would be best to listen first. And in anything that in mental health assessment kasi, ang pinaka-important is for you to be able to establish a relationship. At kung ate mo na yun, baka naman close na kayo. So, she could open up to you. So, the best thing to do would be to listen to that person. To listen without judgment and with empathy. So, ibig sabihin, pag nakinig ka, wag mong sabihin na, ako nga, eto, at kahit naka-quarantine tayo, ganito naman yung nangyayari sa akin, ganito lang yung ginagawa ko. So, listen non-judgmentally. Tapos, listen with empathy. Pwede mong sabihin, halimbawa, nagsasalita siya, nahihirapan siya, sabi mo, pansin ko nga, nahihirapan ka. Okay? So, i-reflect back mo, yung tingin mo, yung nararamdaman niya. Okay? So, empathy. Hindi siya sympathy na maaawa ka, nakakaawa ka naman. So, it is more on putting your um your feet on her shoes. Tapos, another thing is that pag ganun, once you listen, tapos observe mo, after several days ba tuloy-tuloy pa din? Pag tuloy-tuloy pa din, maybe it's time to seek consult with a professional para they could advise you on what to do. Pero in general, what you could advise her is to maintain some sense of normal activities like maintain pa din yung nutrition, yung pagkain, yung exercise, yung sleep, kung nakakatulog ng maayos, tapos regularly connect with people, regularly connect with friends and relatives. Kasi ang mga tao, lalo na mga Pilipino, actually, very social. Ibig sabihin, talagang mahilig tayong makipagkwentuhan, makipag-usap sa ibang tao. We're social people, we're social persons. Pag tingnan mo nga, we're a very knitted community na ibig sabihin magkakadikit tayong lahat halos na unlike sa Western culture na mas independent, tayo mas dependent sa isa't isa. Which is actually not bad. Ang kailangan lang natin during this time of quarantine, baka kailangan natin siya i-practice through digital connections. For example, dun sa mga messengers, sa mga apps na available.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you, Doc. Kasi minsan iniisip ko, yung mga napapanood ko ba sa mga movies, kumbaga, hindi ba okay yun? Is it better to do it one person at a time? For example, ako lang ang kakausap sa ate ko. Is that better than an intervention? Di ba nakikita natin madalas intervention eh?
Mm-mm. Tingin ko kasi, pag sa, una kasi sa Filipino culture kasi mas family muna eh, 'di ba? Actually, mas religion ka nga muna pupunta eh. So, I think it is very important na kausapin mo muna yung family member mo, tapos, tapos saka tayo magpunta dun sa mental health consultation unless it is very urgent, like may suicidal thoughts, may homicidal thoughts, or known case dati na as in na-diagnose na dati na hindi nakakainom ng gamot or mukhang umuulit. Pag mga ganun, it is best to dalhin na kaagad dun sa online consultation na mga available ngayon. Pero kung this is something new, this person has been very strong for the past years, for the past days, tapos biglang na-down, baka ang maganda is to listen to that person, especially kung close ka sa kanila. Tapos, kung relative ka, better din. Kung friend ka, better din. Kasi nga, usually, ang Pinoy, mas gusto sa mas close nila.
Correct. Totoo naman, no? So, kung kapatid ka nga, mas mag-open up sa'yo. Or kung closer sa auntie mo, ganyan, pwedeng sa auntie mo. So, hindi pala agad-agad dapat. So, try muna natin, tayo muna. And then try family, try religion before going to the online consultation. Ganyan pala yun, Doc. So, parang may sequence din siya. Huwag tayong mag-panic agad-agad, Shopee fam, okay? Thank you, Doc, for answering my question. We have another one here. And this one is from our Shopee fam. beauty_L25. Sabi niya, medyo napapadala siguro, no? Is it normal to have more mood swings sa panahon ngayon?
Yung mood swings, it depends on how it affects your relationship. Kung ang nangyayari na kasi, nakakaaway mo na yung buong pamilya mo, tapos, halimbawa, you're working in a BPO company, tapos nakakaaway mo yung mga customers mo, nagkakasagutan kayo, there might be a problem. Lalo na kung this happens multiple times a week na hindi na siya normal. Lalo na kung hindi naman talaga ganun yung personality mo before. But if it is happening ng, for example, 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, minsan pasumpong-sumpong lang, mga 1 minute ng tanghali, ng umaga, ng gabi, maybe it's normal. Pero kung nakaka-affect na sa relationships mo, it's not normal.
So yun pala yung sign doon, ano. So kung ikaw, usually nagkakaroon ka rin naman ng mood swings from the past, that's okay. Pero kung biglang may big switch sa iyong pag-uugali, for example, tapos ang mood mo talaga namang masayahin ka dati, bigla kang naging bugnutin, yan. That's a red flag pala, Doc. No? And then, you mentioned about online consultations kanina. How about you? Would you do online consultations like that if our Shopee fans, for example, would like to seek medical assistance?
Actually, I do ngayon na may online consultation naman kami through dun sa um, NGO kung saan ako consultant sa Makati, sa InTouch. Yun.
Oh, okay. So marami kang nakakausap. Doc, alam mo, super curious ako. May nag-consult na ba sa'yo na COVID-19 positive?
Oo. Pero friend ko kasi
Oh,
siya. So,
talaga?
technically,
Okay, okay.
hindi siya patient din. Pero nag-consult lang siya about what can he do. Pero kasi pag ganun kasi naka-close namin or something na very familiar kami, someone familiar kami, it is usually not advisable to be that patient's doctor. So, pag ganun kasi, general things lang yung ma-advise mo, like maintain ka ng schedule,
Mhm.
do this, kung sleeping meds, baka eto gusto mo itry, ganyan.
Mhm.
Kasi doctor naman siya.
Okay, mahirap pala kapag kaibigan, ano? Kapag malapit sa iyo. So,
Kasi
okay,
it's a
sige.
better
I get that naman. Tama. So, iba ang treatment pag like that. Doc, ito naman, this one is coming from R. Roland 32, our Shopee fam. Sabi niya, how do I deal with anxiety?
First thing you do, pag may anxiety ka, kasi madaming types ng anxiety, first thing you can do is to practice relaxation na techniques. For example, you could do deep breathing exercises, yung katulad sa yoga na mindfulness, like you breathe in for 3 seconds, you hold it for 3 seconds, then you exhale for 3 seconds. Um, um, tapos you repeat it mga 10 to 20 times for several times a day. Let's say 3 times a day. Then another thing that you could do is to take care of your body. Na for example, pag sinabi kasi natin yung body natin, it's more of the physical, di ba? Sabihin natin, are you getting enough sleep? That's something you have to ask yourself. Maayos ba yung pagtulog mo? O kung maayos yung pagtulog mo, do you feel rested the next day? Kasi kung hindi mo na-feel na rested ka the next day, maybe it's insomnia pa din, even if you are having enough time. Kasi ang insomnia naman, it is based on the quality of sleep too, hindi lang sa quantity, dun sa tagal. So, ibig sabihin, dun din sa quality na nakapahinga ka ba. Okay? Then,
Okay.
another thing is to are you eating good? Are you eating enough? Are you eating healthy? So you have to ask yourself that. Kasi whatever you eat, it goes to your brain too. Kasi ang brain mo, that is where the mind. Nandun yung pag-iisip mo sa utak mo. So pag if you're not eating healthy, it might be affecting your mood too. Then another thing is that kamusta ba yung relationships mo sa pamilya mo? Nakakausap mo pa ba sila? So that is something that you have to look into then. Okay? So, and what are you doing about the anxiety ngayon? Pati kung na-experience mo na to dati, ano bang ginagawa mo dati that seems to be effective to you that seems to be effective for you before? Kasi kung ang effective sa'yo before, nag-exercise ka, effective sa'yo before, nagbabasa ka, then do it again. Pero kung hindi siya effective sa'yo before, then find something else. And in therapy, usually, ayun yung isa sa mga ginagawa. It is finding out ano ba yung mas effective sa'yo na coping dun sa ibang types ng therapy.
Okay. Doc, alam mo, I'd like to pick on what you said. And you said take care of your body, right? If you're getting enough sleep, if you're eating enough. Naku, paano naman, Doc, kami na mga eating so much more than enough? Yung mga, kumbaga, nagsistress eating na dahil sa rami ng iniisip ngayon. Okay
Ayun.
lang ba yan?
I think kasi, pag sa stress eating kasi, actually, may recommended naman tayong dietary allowance. You could, ang isang pwedeng gawin is to compute based on it. Pero I think kasi kung stress eater ka, this time of quarantine, some people actually na mag bawiin na lang yung weight mo pagbalik ng mas normal or do some home workouts to compensate. It
Mhm.
depends actually on you. If it's stressing you out na tipong may kilala kasi ako, may client ako before, pag ganyan yung ginagawa niya na nag-stress eating siya, naaawa siya sa sarili niya, nag-self-pity siya to the point of
Oh.
having some suicidal thoughts. So, pag ganun kasi, it might not be healthy. Pag
Mhm.
kasi, ang coping mo talaga, tapos to make you just feel some sense of normal and to make you feel better na kumain ka, it might actually be treating yourself right. Parang tinitreat mo yung sarili mo after you've gone through something, di ba? And it's not totally bad.
Thank you, Doc. So akin, ano lang naman, comfort food lang. Kumbaga, pasaglit-saglit. Kaya okay pa pala yun. Okay,
I think
we have
very
more
helpful,
questions
guys.
here coming in. Thank you guys for all your questions. I have more here. Ito naman ay sabi ni Kay Can Relasyon. Paano po maiiwasan ng isang buntis ang pag-iisip during this crisis?
Okay. Kasi pag-iisip ng, I guess it's pag-iisip ng hindi mabuti or na-anxious siguro, madami masyadong iniisip. First thing you can do is, I think, sabi ko nga kanina, yung mga exercises, relaxation, kasi meron din mga exercises for pregnancy na pwede. Like, some yoga exercises actually pwede. Pero, other things you can do para maiwasan mo yung pag-iisip is to actually make a schedule. Ano ba yung mga gusto mong, iba mong kailangan gawin? For example, you could put a schedule na eto, deep breathing exercise ka kasi it helps with anxiety, with coping. Eto, gusto mong mag-cope with, you want to try the arts. Pwede ka mag-paint. Kasi some people um, cope with the arts, with being artful na nagpe-paint, nagda-draw. Pwede mo din gawin yun. Allocate some schedules para to take your mind off things. And don't forget na mahalaga din na to rest, to sleep. Some people actually, ang ginagawa naman, lalo na pag mga younger, like 18 years old, 19 years old, minsan kahit 30, 40, ganyan, nagpe-play naman ng video games. And that's not totally bad, especially this situation, di ba? Yun. Yung mga ganung bagay. So, try to find a hobby that works for you,
There.
that you enjoy.
Correct. Kasi nga, maybe it's too much time in our hands right now that is stressing us out. So why not get a hobby para naman may ginagawa ka dun sa mga time na meron ka, right? Okay, I have one last question here for this segment. Sabi dito, normal ba na umiiyak ako araw-araw? Then yung iyak is about pain, anger, halo-halong feelings.
It actually depends kung anong araw-araw. Kung araw-araw, most time of the day, it might be something. Kasi if you would look at the criteria, well, I'll just go to the criteria of depression. If you would look at the criteria of depression, it is one of those, ibig sabihin madami sila, so 9 sila lahat. Pero yung isa doon, it is depressed mood for most of the day. So ibig sabihin, halos buong araw, um, for almost every day for 2 weeks. So, ibig sabihin, halos araw-araw na ganun yung pakiramdam mo more than 2 weeks. So, there might be some depression pag ganun na. Tapos wala ka na, tapos it affects your relationship, your vocation, your occupation, yung trabaho mo naapektuhan, yung pamilya mo, even the way you manage your money. Kasi, ang nangyayari naman, hope siguro bumili ka ng sandamakmak more than what you could actually pay in your credit card. So, it actually becomes abnormal pag gano'n. Pero if eto, naiiyak ka because of a particular situation, tapos yung situation na yun hindi na resolve, for example, nag-aaway kayo araw-araw ng asawa mo, umiiyak ka araw-araw, then it's probably a situational na depression na ang kailangan mo ma-address yung situation mo more than yung mag-consult ka for medications, for counseling about it, baka kailangan ma-address yung situation mo. Pero in some counseling, actually, kung halimbawa, ganyan, couples counseling could actually help. Kung may ganun na situation.
So gets ko yan, Doc. Maraming salamat. Actually, hindi talaga kailangang mag-consult, no? For example, sa online psychiatry consultation, something that you do. Hindi kailangan. So pwede rin palang i-resolve muna natin kung ano yung nagtitrigger ng mga emotions na iyan. So kung ikaw ay naiiyak araw-araw. Correct naman yan. Thank you very much, Doc, for answering the question of our Shopee fam. Maraming tanong dito. But I know that you have prepared more slides for us, and we have to go to our second topic. And our second topic is, what is mental health and what can we do during ECQ?
Okay. Sige. Sige. Let's go to the fourth slide na. So, sa fourth slide na to, ang nakalagay naman, what is mental health? So, mental health, by definition, sa WHO or sa World Health Organization, ang sinasabi doon, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his community. Ibig sabihin nun, pag good yung mental health mo, na-maximize mo yung kakayanan mo. Na kung, kasi before meron akong client, ano siya, depressed siya. Pag depressed siya, ang grade niya, pang cum laude. Pero pag hindi siya depressed, ang grade niya, pang summa. So, pang summa cum laude.
Oh!
So, ibig sabihin, most of the people kasi doesn't really understand na hindi siya makapag-concentrate kasi matalino talaga siyang tao. So, pero
Mm-hmm.
if mental health is maximized, this person could actually do better na pangsuma talaga yung talino niya eh. And pag hindi mo siya tinreat, hindi na ma-maximize to cum laude. Although that's good too, di ba? Hindi naman tayo lahat cum laude or summa, di ba? Then
Correct.
another thing is that can cope with the normal stresses of life. So for example, in this kind of situation, kung nagpa-fail ka mag-cope during the initial phase, then it might be actually normal. Pero kung hindi ka nakakapag-adjust in the long run, then it might actually be, there might be some mental health problem. Okay? Then another thing is that can work productively and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi lang naman work as in nagtatrabaho ka in a company or may business ka. It is also about kung housewife ka, naalagaan mo ba yung anak mo? Kung lolo ka na nag-retire na, ano ba yung nagagawa mo ngayon? Naalagaan mo ba yung sarili mo in the first place? Kasi kung hindi mo na nagagawa yun, baka hindi na productive. Okay? So, ayun yung mga facets ng or mga parts ng mental health. So, another thing about this slide is that I want to show you that um, in mental health, merong biological, may social, may psychological aspect. So, kasi usually, pag sinabi kasing mental health, we're so limited about the psychological aspect na paano ba tayo nagko-cope, paano ba yung tiwala natin sa sarili natin, wala na tayong confidence. But mental health is more than that, okay? Mental health is also about your physical body. So, ano ba yung um, status ng physical body mo, madami ka bang sakit na iba, it could also affect your mental health. Tapos yung genetics, kung sa pamilya mo merong mga mental health problems, baka at the risk ka din. Then another thing is na important din is social, na kamusta ba yung relationships mo? Kamusta ba yung environment mo? Kasi kung abnormal yung relationships mo, I mean, it's not really working out, na nag-aaway kayo palagi ng kapatid mo, ng magulang mo, then it is also going to affect your mental health. So, pag tingnan mo yung mental health, it's not only about how you cope, it's also about your body, na um, yung fitness mo, yung physical fitness mo, pati yung quality ng relationships mo, pati ng environment mo. Okay? Kaya, di ba sa mga companies, minsan may mga counselors din, it is actually um, to support mental health in the workplace, di ba? Yung mga ganong bagay. So, um, so how do we actually cope during this quarantine based on this kind of thinking na ang mental health multifaceted. So, punta tayo dun sa slide number 5 dun sa what can you do for your mental health during the ECQ. So, biologically, if you would look at the picture, meron dyan nagpo-push up, so meaning mag-exercise ka. Okay? Then, another thing is may natutulog din dyan. So, ibig sabihin, get enough rest. So, ibig sabihin, pag, um, pag to take care of your mental health, you also have to take care of your physical health na um, kailangan may enough ka na sleep. Paano natin masasabi na enough yung sleep? It's about the quality. Kasi kung feeling mo rested ka with 5 hours, that might be the normal for you. Kung feeling mo rested ka with 7 hours, then that might be normal to you. Kasi ang sinasabi kasi na normal na 6 to 8 hours of sleep, it's actually hindi naman siya normal. Average siya. Ibig sabihin, karamihan ng tao ang kailangan 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Pero kung 4 hours lang yung tulog mo, you feel rested, that might be the normal for you. It's not exactly about the length. Okay? Then another thing is, pag nakita niyo dito, meron ditong kumakain naman ng salad. It is to be mindful of your nutrition during the ECQ na kung kaya, kung afford, at kung may budget naman, baka kailangan balance pa din yung diet. May vitamins and minerals which is usually nasa gulay, tapos may meat na for protein, tapos may carbohydrates. Sa ating mga Pilipino, usually kanin or pandesal, di ba? Yun. Then, lastly, yung last picture dyan, meron dyan kamay na nakahataw sa yosi. So, it is, kung kaya natin iwasan natin yung mga bisyo. Okay? Sa ngayong panahon. Okay? Then, sige, punta tayo sa next slide. So that is about the biological na to take care of our mental health, we also have to take care of our physical body through exercise, enough sleep, the right diet, and avoiding vices. So sa next slide naman, this is psychological aspect naman, how to actually um, take care of the psychological aspect of your mental health. So one thing is that you can do is take breaks, okay? Throughout the day. Kasi sometimes yung mga taong nag-work from home, wala nang ka-break because I have friends na ganun din na parang tuloy-tuloy, kailangan lagi sila nakaharap sa camera. So, medyo mahirap kasi pag ganun. So, try to take breaks pag kaya. Okay? And take it positively na nakakapagpahinga ka din. Then, another thing, meron dito, nag-yoga is to practice mindfulness. So, be at the moment. So, one thing that you could do is, well, dito sa picture na to, yoga, kasi it's a mindfulness practice, or you could do yung breathing exercises na sinabi ko kanina, wherein you could do um you could do it regularly na 3 times a day. For example, na breathe in for 3 seconds, tapos hold for 3 seconds, exhale for 3 seconds, then repeat it 10 times, 3 times a day. Okay, to relax yourself and take your mind off things. Then another thing is to write out your goals. Ano ba yung goals mo? Okay? Even after this, kasi hindi naman tumitigil yung buhay natin sa quarantine. Pag naka-quarantine tayo, this is temporary. So, you have to look at dun sa longer aspect ng buhay mo. Ano ba yung mga long-term goals mo? Ano ba yung mga gusto mong ma-achieve? Kung isa kang travel na person, mahilig ka mag-travel, baka ang maganda, i-list mo ano ba yung mga countries na gusto mong puntahan, how would you budget your money for it. So, write out your long-term and short-term goals. Okay? Para alam mo kung saan ka papunta after this. Then another thing that you could do to cope with the stresses of the quarantine is try to make a schedule. Yung schedule mo, di ba, dun sa physical health, may exercise, diet, sleep, baka maganda i-schedule mo din siya na kailan ka ba pwede mag-exercise throughout the day, kailan ba yung time mo to relax, kailan ba yung time mo to take breaks, tapos kailan ba yung time na magluluto ka, and even your sleep, pwede mo yung i-flat out. Pero be mindful lang pag gumagawa ka din ng schedule is not to be rigid about it, na sana may time for flexibility na hindi naman kailangan minuto may ginagawa ka o minuto may break ka. So be mindful lang na when you're making your schedule, pwede din na may flexibility. Okay? Then for the next slide, sa slide 7 naman, these are social things that you could actually do. Pag sinabi kasi natin social, it is how you as a person relate to your environment sa society. So, in this case, pag nakita nyo to, it, ang isa dito na mga nakalagay, yung mga apps like Messenger, Twitter, Viber, or whatever na messaging app. Okay? So, it is, ang meaning niyan, sana may regular ka din na communication. If you're going to make a schedule, ako personally sa mga clients ko na parang nalulose track nila yung social life nila, I ask them to like spend 30 minutes for their friends sa gagawin nilang schedule, 30 minutes for their relatives. It is to maintain your social circle and your social life. Then another thing na nakita nila sa na important sa studies is the altruism. Ibig sabihin, doing something good for another person without getting anything in return. So, kaya nakalagay dyan, donation. It actually boosts your mental health then, sabi sa studies. Then, pag nakita nyo dyan, may nakalagay off limits. So, if you're going to talk with someone, tapos different yung political opinion nyo, different yung opinion nyo about policies, so know your limits and know the limits of another person na you don't have, kasi ako pansin ko, halimbawa, nag-open ako ng social media app, which is sometimes very toxic kasi unfriend me pag ganito, ganyan, ganyan. Unfriend me pag ganito, ganyan, ganyan. Ang dami niyan. So know your limits lang. Kung hanggang saan, kasi it tells me na sometimes you're limiting your friendship because of your political opinion. Eh, hindi naman kayo siguro naging friends gawa ng political opinion nyo, di ba? Hindi naman siguro kayo mga politiko. So baka ang maganda kasing gawin nyo pag ganyan is know the limits of that person. Kung kakausapin ko to, siguro wag namin pag-usapan yung politics kasi mag-aaway lang kami or yung policies kasi mag-aaway lang kami kasi tingin
Mhm.
ko mas important yung economy. Ito, tingin niya mas important yung health. So baka yung mga ganong bagay. Okay? So know your limits. Pati kung ano lang yung kaya mo na information within the day. Kasi if you're so hooked to the social media, ang dami-daming information. So ako personally, what I do is I allot like an hour a day para lang magtingin ng isang app. Hindi ako mag-aalat ng the whole day na nakabukas yung Facebook ko o kung ano mang
Correct.
social media app. Kasi it's becoming so toxic. Then another thing is pag nakita nyo dito, knowledge is power. So get some information um na factual, na reliable. So sa mga reliable na sources. So sa atin daw ang reliable is the WHO, the WHO Philippines, and the DOH. So pwede tayong kumuha ng mga information dun sa mga yon. Kasi if we're going to bombard ourselves with a lot of information, lalo na kung magkaiba naman, baka kasi ang mangyari sa atin is mas stress lang din tayo lalo, which could actually predispose us to mental health problems. Okay? Then, other things you can do on the next slide, on slide 8, includes seek information only from trusted sources once or twice a day. So, in my case, I do it once a day. Avoid listening to or following rumors that make you feel uncomfortable. So, kung ikaw comfortable ka sa chismis, um, baka it doesn't work for everyone. Baka ang mas maganda, avoid listening to rumors. So sa panahon ngayon, yung mga fake news, hindi siya makakatulong. Okay? Then also, amplify positive and hopeful stories and positive images of local people who have experienced COVID-19. Di ba, for example, yung last time, di ba si Doc Boji, nag-share siya ng recovery niya dito sa Shopee. Tapos, di ba, it gives us hope na hindi lahat ng makakakuha nitong sakit na to ay lalala. Na yung iba kailangan lang maging mindful na mag-quarantine. Kasi kung hindi ko yung lalala, baka yung mahawahan mo yung lumala. So, ganun lang. Pero it gives us this story na kung mahawa tayo, magkasakit tayo, pwede tayong gumaling nang walang nangyayari sa ating um, malala. Okay? Then lastly is to honor carers and healthcare workers. Ibig sabihin, um, yung mga pag-aalaga din sa mga healthcare workers natin makes us feel secure na pag tayo nagkasakit, may mag-aalaga sa atin. So it helps also alleviate the stresses of this quarantine. So sa next slide naman, sa slide 9, if you are working from home, the things that you could do is create a comfortable and private place in your home to work. So ibig sabihin, mag-set up ka kung halimbawa comfortable ka dun sa halimbawa may work table ka, halimbawa ganito, may work table ka katulad ng nasa likod ko. You could arrange it na mas pleasing sa mata mo, mas pleasing sa paggalaw mo kasi alam mo um yung mental health kasi it's the mind, 'di ba? It's in the brain. Tapos yung senses mo, it's also in the brain. 'Di ba? Tinuturuan tayo ng grade school tayo, 'di ba? May five senses tayo. There's sense of touch, smell, sight, ganyan. So, it also boosts us na um, our well-being pag maganda yung nakikita natin, pag maayos. Okay? 'Di ba? Pag magulo yung lugar, pag hindi naka-arrange ng maayos, pag kalat-kalat yung mga damit, ganyan. 'Di ba? It also puts
True.
a lot of stress to us. Then also, if you are working from home, if you are able to incorporate exercise breaks and social interaction into your work routine, the better. Kasi pag nag-work from home kasi tayo, ang tagal nating nakaupo usually. So para ka na nag-long haul flight from Philippines to US na hindi ka na gumagalaw. So ang mahalaga doon, makapag-breaks ka din to take your minds off. Okay? So it could be exercise breaks or it could be a chika break with your friends or your relatives. Then, if you are also able, you could try to turn off your work email or kung may social media group kayo for work, you could actually turn it off, yung notifications, pag hindi ka na working. So, before and after working hours. Okay? So, it helps you focus more on the other aspect of your life na hindi na related sa work. Okay? So, sa next slide, sa slide 10 naman, if after all this, na ginawa mo na lahat-lahat, you are still psychologically distressed, ibig sabihin, pakiramdam mo hindi ka pa din mapakali or down na down ka pa din, anxious na anxious ka pa din, and unable to do your daily routine, hindi ka makaluto, hindi ka makaalaga ng anak mo, then seek help. Okay? Saan ka magsisik ng help? So, dun sa next slide dyan, sa slide 11, these are some groups na nagpo-provide ng free online counseling. So, kasama dito yung NCMH USAP or the National Center for Mental Health Crisis Hotline, the Philippine Mental Health Association Online Support Group, the Ateneo Bulatao Center, the Psychiatric Association na Mind Matters, PsyConsult, Gray Matters, Psychological and Consultancy, Circle of Hope, In Touch, Masters, and the UP Diliman. Actually, madami pa. Available siya dun sa site na nandun sa link, dun sa source nung slide na yan. Then, be mindful lang na hindi, yung iba dito kasi sa mga online counseling na to, na free, kailangan by schedule, hindi agad-agad. Yung iba dito, crisis hotline lang. Ibig sabihin, pag malala na feeling mo magpapakamatay ka, ayun yung kinikater nila. May iba dito, ang priority is frontline workers. So baka it might take time for you to actually to be entertained. Okay? Pero karamihan dito, actually lahat of free. So familiar ako sa In Touch kasi I work there. So, ang pinoprovide nun, 24/7 na crisis hotline. So, ibig sabihin, if you feel so dreaded, tapos if you feel any suicidal or homicidal thoughts throughout the day, as in 24/7, kahit madaling araw, you could call them and ask for an online counseling na free.
Naku, nakakatuwa pala, Doc, no? Ang daming nagbibigay ng mga online consultations.
Mm-mm.
Maraming salamat to all of those, lalo na dun sa mga kailangan talaga ng tulong right now.
Actually, meron din, kasi ito mostly Luzon-based. Meron din sa Mindanao, pati sa Visayas, University of San Carlos, mga ganun. Madami.
USC.
USC sa Visayas.
Alright, that's nice to know. Thank you very much, Doc. Actually, alam mo itong slides na pinapakita natin, napaka-helpful. Ang dami kong natutunan at I think triggered ang ating mga Shopee fam dahil ang daming katanungan na nag-arrive. Okay? So I'm going to start reading our questions now. Extend ba tayo? Pero bago yan, Doc, parang good vibes para sa ating Shopee fam na yung mga minsan ay tinatamaan na ng mood swings. Ito, ang pampagana para sa inyo, it is voucher time! Ayan, please tap to claim na as promised. Of course, we are giving Shopee coins during this Ask the Pro episode. And also, we have vouchers at mamaya bago tayo magtapos. Meron ulit ha, bukod yan sa mga natututunan natin kay Dr. Roald Alibudbud. Okay? Tap to claim na, mag-comment naman kayo ng claim kung kayo ay nakakuha ng voucher. And now, I will go and read the first question that is here on the list. Sabi ni Kanja24 Arnold, masasabi rin po bang problema pag iba-iba ang mood ng bata dahil hindi makalabas ng bahay?
Ayun nga. Problema siya usually for the carers, dun sa nag-aalaga. For example, dun sa magulang. Pero, depende din kasi pag bata kasi it's very complex. Like, for example, kung 2 years old yan, tapos moody, lagi kang sinasaway kasi ito yung natututo yung bata mag-say no to a lot of things. So, they will really practice it. Tapos, tingin natin minsan moody. Pero, kung yung mood ng bata naman, it depends din kasi sa age eh. Kung let's say kung 5 or 6, tapos very moody, irritable throughout the day, tapos hindi na ginagawa yung, kung halimbawa may online na schoolwork or whatever, hindi niya ginagawa, tapos it affects the functioning, yung pagkain, pagtulog niya, hindi na normal, nag-iba na yung sleep cycle na dati natutulog siya by 8, ngayon 2 a.m. gising pa din. Baka doon may problem na. Lalo na kung prolong yun. Ibig sabihin, nangyari yun simula nitong quarantine, simula as in months or weeks. Yun.
Okay, so watch out. Meron din pala, pwede rin pala sa mga bata, ano?
Mm-hmm.
Hindi lang iyan para sa ating mga adult. O, ito naman, sabi naman ni Angel Ray 224, how can we differentiate kaya, Doc, a panic attack from an anxiety attack?
Okay. Yung, kasi pag tingnan natin yung semantics actually, ang nakalagay lang doon, bawa sa diagnostic classification na gamit ng, ang gamit kasi namin sa Philippines, usually ng mga psychiatrists sa Philippines is the American Psychiatric Association na Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, pati yung ICD code. Pag doon kasi ang nakalagay lang, panic attack, wala siyang anxiety attack. So pag panic attack kasi, it's usually a feeling of dread na nagpapalpitate ka, pangit yung pakiramdam mo, feeling mo mawawala ka sa sarili mo, nandalamig yung kasukasuan mo, tapos minsan may parang kuryente pa, minsan parang pakiramdam mo mahihilo ka, masusuka ka, ganun yung panic attack. Anxiety in general, it's intense worry and fear na natatakot ka. It might be na pwedeng wala kang physical na symptoms na katulad na nagpapalpitate. Ganun kasi usually yung nakikita pag nagpa-panic attack yung tao, nagpapalpitate tapos nanlalamig yung mga extremities, pati nasusuka, pati hilo. Pero pag sa anxiety kasi, usually it's more of the fear and the worry. Baka yun yung sinasabi niya na and restlessness. Baka yun yung sinasabi niya na anxiety and panic attack. Pero so far, nomenclature, ibig sabihin, the way these mental health problems are named, ang nandun lang kasi ay panic attack. Wala dun anxiety attack. Pero we're not saying na pag nagkaka-anxiety attack ka, it might not be a mental health problem. It might actually be. Kasi yung mga naming ng mga psychiatric disorders na to, honestly kasi, pag sinabi sa yung major depressive disorder, persistent depressive disorder, or whatever na diagnosis, you can't really lump a person sa isang diagnosis lang. It is actually used to communicate between mental health providers, pati dun sa guidelines, ano yung mga gagawin mo. Pero you can't actually lump a person kasi everyone is unique. And even the presentations of mental health problems is unique to each person. So, kung nagkaka-anxiety attack ka, it might actually be abnormal too. And you might actually need some help then.
Okay, so hindi naman sinasabi na porke anxiety attack ay hindi natin seseryosohin because it can lead to something. Also, kapag ang panic attack pala yan, may mga physical symptoms, so nasusuka and all, okay? We have last one question here on the list. At ang sabi dito, is it possible to be mentally ill due to constant use of social media? And if so, how can I cope from it? I think briefly nasagot mo to kanina, Doc, no?
ayun, pag nata-take note yung, kasi meron ngayon, may mga studies about social media addiction. So, usually kasi pag addiction, it takes too much of your time, napapabayaan mo yung trabaho mo, like, kung paano, halimbawa, sa alcoholism, for example, pati sa, or let's say, gambling, or let's say, yung mas malala, mga shabu, ganyan, na use, na addiction. Yun kasi, nagiging siyang disorder pag it takes too much of your time, napapabayaan mo yung trabaho mo, nag-aaway kayo ng mga relatives mo, ng asawa mo, ng kaibigan mo, because of use. Pag nangyayari sa'yo yun, gawa ng social media use mo, or kung hindi naman social media, kung gaming, video games, it is also considered, it might actually be a mental health problem too, mga ganung bagay. Pero if you're taking it na magkakasama pa kayo ng pamilya nyo, ang tagal nyo talaga nagpe-Facebook kasi doon kayo nag-uusap, tapos doon na din minsan yung way nyo communicate, baka it is something healthy pa nga for you. So it actually depends on your situation.
So once again, no, ang nabanggit ni Doc Alibudbud, depende yan sa epekto sa'yo. So if it is negative, yung mga nakikita mo ay puro gusto mo nang i-unfollow, ayan, maybe red flag na yon. Pero kung positive naman, at ginagamit mo yan na ginagamit para makausap ang mga mahal sa buhay, pwede, okay? Nako, nakakatuwa at ang dami ko talagang natutunan sa iyo, Dr. Alibudbud. Thank you, Dr. Rowell. And guys, thank you for commenting all your questions. I'm sure marami rin kayong natutunan, Shopee fam, no, from this very special episode. And any message that you'd like to leave with our Shopee fam, Doc, right now?
Ayun, if you're taking, if you have the privilege na to take the quarantine as a break from your normal working life, it might actually be helpful for you na you could actually take it as your long deserved break. Okay? So kung if you are privileged enough to be able to afford it, kasi syempre hindi naman tayo lahat afford na walang work or whatever. If you are privileged enough, you could actually take it as a break. Okay? So taking breaks are not bad. Okay? So
Totoo, kailangan na kailangan talaga natin yun para tayo ay hindi mababurn out kahit ano pa man ang ginagawa natin. So, Doc, ayan, reminder din sa iyo siguro, no? Dahil alam ko marami kang ginagawang consultations and we thank you for what you are doing. Alam ko, from our point of view, frontliner ka din kasi marami ka rin natutulungan. At maraming salamat. Thank you for allowing us to interview you today. And Shopee fam, that is it for our episode. Pero alam ko naman na may hinihintay pa kayong isa dahil nga ituloy-tuloy na natin ang good vibes sa araw na ito. Kaya meron pa tayong isang voucher! Go and tap to claim, Shopee fam. O diba, hindi lamang learnings from Dr. Rowald ang maiiuwi natin. Meron pa tayong voucher sa mga nakakuha rin ng points kanina at nakarami. Congratulations sa inyo. Nako, tutok lang dahil mapapadalas ang Ask the Pro episodes natin. And click the get reminder button para sa ating episode next Wednesday. Kung ano ang topic, abangan yan. At i-follow nyo ang Shopee na Facebook page, okay? If you were able to get a voucher, please comment claim down below. Once again, Dr. Rowald, we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts kasi napaka-helpful talaga ng topic na ito para sa amin at para sa ating Shopee fam. Thank you for gracing our Zoom interview today. And this has been Rosie, your Shopee Live host. Stay safe and healthy, Shopee fam. See you on our episode mamayang gabi, ha? Meron tayong 5 p.m., meron din tayong 7 p.m. na quiz for our mommies. Syempre, you can also get more Shopee points, discount vouchers, and giveaways there. But for now, Dr. Rowald and I are signing off. Have a great
Thank you. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you, Doc.